In a world completely wrecked by destruction, our guy Su Wu is just standing there, totally baffled. Like he's still processing the fact that it all started as some stupid game, and now, boom, apocalypse. No heroes left, no backup, nada. He's pretty much the last human standing. But is he giving up? Hell no. This dude's ready to risk it all for humanity. So, what does our brave hero do? He screams, loud, like the kind of scream that makes everyone in the room stop and stare. Then, plot twist, he realizes he's not in some epic showdown with gods or monsters. Nah, he's in class. Regular, boring-ass school. Su Wu just embarrassed himself in front of everyone. But here's the thing. He doesn't care. Not one bit. What's bugging him is why he's still alive. That's when the teacher, looking all smug, announces, 5 minutes till the university entrance exam starts. Su Wu freezes. Wait, what? Turns out he's been yeeted back in time. 10 years to be exact. While trying to piece it all together, Su Wu checks his pockets. And there it is. The ring. Not just any ring. This is the freaking Apocalypse ring. The key to the game that destroyed the world. Now enter the teacher, Mr. Chin, who's clearly had enough of Su Wu ignoring him. He starts barking at him, but does Su Wu care? Nope. He claps back hard, telling Chin he's the worst excuse for a teacher. Why? Because in the future, brace yourselves, Qin betrays the students in the apocalypse. Of course, Chin's just standing there, completely confused because none of this has happened yet. Su Wu doesn't have time for this nonsense. He grabs his stuff and dips. The class. Oh, they're losing it. The dude just roasted the teacher in front of everyone. Walking home, Su Wu's mind starts racing. He remembers how people got stupid rich playing Apocalypse. But, yeah, they also died. A lot. Nobody expected the game would be the world's undoing, and when humanity finally tried to fight back, it was, let's just say, not great. Facing gods is not something you can win with teamwork and good vibes. But now, Su Wu has a second chance. And this time, he's not gonna waste it. When he gets home, there's a note from his mom. She's off somewhere, leaving Su Wu to hold down the fort. Perfect. This is his moment. He's got the ring, he's got the plan, and he's not about to let humanity go down again. So, what does he do? He activates the ring. And let me tell you, it freaking works. In an instant, he's thrown right back into the world of Apocalypse, ready to face whatever crazy stuff this game throws at him. Our dude Su Wu just dropped into the game, and a freaking deity pops up, welcoming him like he's some kind of VIP. First order of business? Pick a class. Easy, right? Nah. Su Wu thinks, let's try something new this time around. But nope. The game's like, sorry buddy, rules are rules. Back to your old setup. And, oh, to make it worse, all his stats got reset. Brutal. Naturally, Su Wu dives into his inventory, hoping for a little something. Something to save the day. Guess what? It's emptier than his love life. But then, hold up. There's this random item sitting there. The bone of the god of death. Sounds epic, right? Nah, it's got no stats, no description, literally nothing. It's just there. Useless. Before he can even figure out what to do with it, the game sucks him into the noob village, where he gets some bonus starter stats for being the first player. Sweet deal. But hey, it's grind time. So Su Wu goes to farm mobs, starting with the classic wild boars, except, plot twist, his mage attacks hit like wet noodles. While he's busy running for his life, he stumbles on a girl in big trouble. Enter Xiaohua, who's about to get flattened by the freaking Boar King. A mission pops up. Save the damsel in distress. Sounds heroic, right? Yeah. No. He straight up slaps her. Yup. A full-on WWE-style smack. Xiaohua's like, what the fuck, dude? Then Su Wu drops the bomb. I know what you are. Turns out he's not buying her helpless act, because in his past life, he's seen it all. This girl's a freaking demon. She reveals her true form, and now, it's game on. She's OP as hell, taking down the Boar King in one hit, and Su Wu's thinking, well, guess it's my turn to die now. But then he notices something. Her power is tied to the forest's demon energy. Since they've wandered too far, she's basically running on empty. Suwoo's like, guess who's got the upper hand now? He goes full send with his strongest spell. Boom! Xiaohua's toast. With her defeated, Suwoo levels up to 2, grabs a ton of gold, and loots every last thing off her. Because hey, priorities. Suddenly that creepy death god's handbone? Yeah, it levels up too. Suwoo's like, what the heck is this thing? Never saw it in my past life. But of course, it's not going to be that easy. It needs a ton of random materials to activate. So guess what? Time to grind. Again. Out of nowhere, Xiaohua pops back up, but she's all like, hey, sorry about earlier. I was cursed by some evil magic or whatever. Suwoo's skeptical, and hey, as a reward for not completely ditching her, he gets a shiny new staff. Sweet deal, right? Oh, and he also gets a new quest. Escort her to some village nearby, but here's the thing, he's got to carry her there. Yep, full-on princess style. And let's just say, Xiaohua's Jigglypuffs keep bumping into him the whole way. They finally reach the village, and guess who's waiting? Xiaohua's grandpa. This guy's ancient, but hands out another quest because, of course, Suwoo can't catch a break. He's like, sure, old man, I'll deal with that later. For now, our boy heads to the potion shop to gear up. And the potion seller? Oh boy. She's gorgeous, think tall, legs for days, and rocking that mysterious hot NPC vibe. Suwoo's barely keeping his jaw off the floor as he buys out half her stock. Once he's stocked up, it's back to the grind. Using every trick from his past life, Suwoo levels up his gear and farms everything in sight. And since he's the only player here right now, the future rewards? Absolute goldmine. He's already thinking about flexing when the other players show up. A few hours later, the server finally opens, and Suwoo is ready. He's chilling at the Newbie hub, selling all the rare stuff he farmed. Gotta hustle, right? To keep things low-key, he hides his level. Smart move, honestly. Most of the new players, they're side-eyeing him hard. Who starts the game just to sell random junk? But then, she shows up. One look, and Suwoo knows exactly who she is. One of the future top 10 sorceresses in the entire game. And yeah, she's drop-dead gorgeous. She's browsing his wares, but everything's too expensive. Classic. Suwoo, being the opportunist he is, offers her a deal. 20% off, if she lets him touch her legs. Yeah, he really went there. She immediately calls him a creep. Fair. And Suwoo's left standing there looking like a total idiot. Before things get any more awkward, some dude barges in. A guy Suwoo knows all too well. It's God War, the future leader of the Madman Guild. Total scumbag. Back in Suwoo's past life, this guy was notorious for stealing bosses, PKing anyone in sight, and, oh yeah, completely ruining Suwoo's gear. Let's just say, seeing this guy again, not exactly a happy reunion. So Suwoo's out here hustling, selling these god-tier items like he's running the black market of the century. And then boom, Warner and War God show up, sniffing around, clearly dying to snag the best loot. Warner knows how this game works. If you want to move forward, you gotta cough up the gold, no matter how ridiculous the prices are. Suwoo, being the sly little devil he is, reminds her about a special deal he mentioned earlier, hinting she might want to take it now. Here's the kicker. Suwoo legit tosses War God aside like yesterday's trash and decides to sell everything to Warner. War God? Oh, he's fuming. Dude's practically melting his keyboard as he swears he'll annihilate Suwoo the next time they meet on the battlefield. But wait, it gets spicier. Time for Suwoo's reward. And yeah, it's exactly what you're thinking. Or maybe not. Warner literally gives him the green light to touch her legs. Does Suwoo go for it? Nah, not today, Satan. He holds back, saying, yeah, I'ma cash in this favor later. Smart move, man. Why give War God any advantage when you've got the upper hand? After flexing his moral high ground, Suwoo heads off to finish some old dude's quest. He levels up so hard, it's like the game's breaking its own rules for him. He's out here stacking buffs, uncovering secret missions and leaving every other player in the dust. Dude's living the dream. Now, cut to the demonic energy swamp, which, let's be real, sounds like the last place you'd want to hang out. The place is cursed or something, and anyone who steps in loses health every 5 seconds, but Su-woo? Nah, he's built different. While strolling through this hellhole, he hears some adventurers screaming for help. They're getting absolutely wrecked by demon mummies. Su-woo, being the big brain player he is, cooks up a plan. He uses his fire powers to lure the mummies into a trap, then bolts to a spot in the forest where he's got all the advantages. With the speed buffs he picked up earlier, it's honestly a cakewalk. Dude's treating this like it's a tutorial mission. And then, out of nowhere, the server drops a massive announcement. New special mission activated. Apparently, the task is to hunt down 100 players who've been harassing the town's apothecary. The reward? Only the first person to finish gets it. No pressure, right? Su-woo's like, cool, let me just wipe out these mummies real quick. He uses his ultimate attack to nuke them all. Easy. But plot twist. Turns out one of those creeps harassing the apothecary accidentally wandered into Su-woo's attack zone. So yeah, free kill. Meanwhile, the game's global chat is blowing up. Players are whining about how hard the mission is, and Su-woo's just sitting there, unbothered, racking up wins. Meanwhile, War God and his guild think they're hot stuff. They roll up to the swamp like, we've got this. Spoiler, they don't. Not even close. Within seconds, fireballs start raining from the sky like some apocalyptic nightmare. Su-woo, he's just chilling, watching these guys drop like flies. 1 fireball, 2 fireballs. Bam, the guild's wiped out. GG, no re. The scoreboard's climbing like crazy for our boy Su-woo, and honestly, the dude was just trying to hunt some monsters. But now, he's accidentally farming other players too, and oh yeah, picked up a new magic skill along the way. Casual, right? Meanwhile, this player Yumu is stuck in a party with some seriously shallow losers. She's only hanging around because she's hunting for someone in the game, but she's done babysitting these clowns. She's about to dip and go solo, but the party leader's like, nope, not happening. Turns out he's plotting to make some mega powerful guild and wants to strong-arm Yumu into joining. Back to War God, this dude is losing it. He's sick of Su-woo trashing his crew and straight up calls him out to settle things once and for all. Just as things get heated, Wana rolls up and basically says, chill with the testosterone, morons. She reminds War God that the Tinkshui Guild has Su-woo's back 100%, so if War God wants a fight, he's gonna have to go through them first. But Su-woo's like, nah, I got this, and saunters out of the forest like an absolute legend. He starts flexing every buff he's got, and everyone's jaw hits the floor because his level? Yeah, it's way higher than anyone else's. War God's sweating bullets but tries to hide it, barking orders and hoping his squad's numbers give him an edge. Then Su-woo, in true main character energy, shuts them all down. I'm only here because the quest told me to take out 100 pervs who were harassing the apothecary. Congrats, you clowns made the list. War God's crew looks like absolute fools, and he's too mad to care anymore. He just wants to throw hands already. Wanner's ready to back Su-woo up, but he waves her off. Nah, don't need backup. I'm going full combat mode. He powers up his staff and unleashes a barrage of fire attacks like it's nothing. His enemies try to keep up, but he's moving so fast they can't even touch him. Then comes the big move. Su-woo positions himself perfectly and activates his new ability, freezing everyone in place. They can't heal, can't move, can't do squat. He's got them all locked down, and just to rub salt in the wound, he follows it up with his most powerful attack. It's game over. They're frozen stiff, eating fireballs, and their potions? Useless. War God, though, refuses to let it end like this. He demands a one-on-one fight, hoping for some redemption. But Su-woo's not even breaking a sweat. He zips around War God like it's a game of tag, totally humiliating him. At one point, War God thinks he's got the upper hand. Spoiler, he doesn't. One more hit, and War God's down for the count, swearing vengeance through gritted teeth. And just like that, Su-woo claims victory. The crowd goes wild, chanting his name, and even Wanner's like, what the hell did I just witness? Not only has Su-woo crushed the Madman Guild, But he's also wrapped up his 100 kills for the special quest. Word spreads across the server, and now everyone's buzzing about this guy. Before Wanner can even catch her breath, Suwoo casually reminds her, "Hey, about those trades I mentioned." She's confused until she realizes this dude's been farming again. Not just farming, he's got high-quality loot and a super rare skill book. But here's the catch. He'll only sell it to her if she lets him touch her legs 10 times whenever he wants. Wanner doesn't even argue. She knows there's no point. Begrudgingly, she accepts his ridiculous deal. And just like that, Suwoo strikes again. But just before splitting up, Suwoo drops a major tip to Wanner. There's a sweet spot in the forest where you can farm monsters for tons of experience. He casually suggests she head over there and grind a bit. Naturally, she's suspicious. Dude's being way too helpful for no reason. Suwoo, realizing she's not buying it, comes clean. He's trying to form a group for a secret mission and needs backup. Wanner, intrigued, but Loki still doubting him, notices how confident he seems. That energy's contagious, so she decides to roll with him. First priority? Unlock the game's first dungeon. To do that, they need to wipe out a bunch of enemies. Instead of doing the dirty work himself, Suwoo straight up orders War God to handle it. Oh, and just for fun, he sends a global message to everyone on the server, telling them to help out or face his wrath. Suwoo's not just flexing, he's got Wanner's guild backing him, so no one really has a choice but to obey. After hours of grinding, something wild happens. A secret mission pops up. In 30 minutes, everyone has to survive the wrath of the tree god. If they pull it off, there's a mysterious reward. If they fail, they lose a whopping 100,000 XP. The entire server starts freaking out because nobody saw this coming, and most of them are way under-leveled for this kind of chaos. Suwoo, on the other hand, couldn't care less. He's like, whatever, I'm hungry. His calm vibes somehow convince everyone he's got some genius plan up his sleeve. Cut to Suwoo demolishing some burgers, minding his own business, when Jung Jiu, one of the hottest girls at school, walks up. Turns out she was in the game too, and she's been keeping tabs on him. She invites him to hang out with her crew, but Suwoo? Nah, he's not about that life. He figures someone like her is way out of his league anyway, so he politely declines and heads home to dive back into the game. Jiu's left wondering why he's so cold, but Suwoo knows better. His past life memories remind him to steer clear of her. 30 minutes fly by, and it's go time. Suwoo returns just in time for the secret mission, and suddenly, everything starts shaking. He instantly knows something's off. This wasn't how things went in his previous life. Turns out the game admins are messing with the players, cranking the difficulty way up to test them. The battle kicks off, and even the NPCs jump in to help. Players throw everything they've got at the Tree God's army, but it's hopeless. They get wiped over and over, rage-quitting left and right, cursing Suwoo for dragging them into this nightmare. Other servers start tuning in to watch the carnage, calling it an outright massacre. Even the admins are like, yo, this might be too much. Just when all hope seems lost, fireballs start raining from the sky, followed by a massive wave of ice that wipes out the enemies in one swoop. It's Suwoo's master plan. He'd been baiting the enemies to gather in one spot for a massive counterattack. And just like that, the tide turns. Everyone in the game is hyped as hell right now. Not only are they following the most badass protagonist ever, but it's go time for the team to make their next move. Just as the battle heats up, Wanner logs in to back them up, and suddenly, the squad's pulling off synchronized attacks like it's some Avengers-level coordination. Suwoo's calling the shots, and they're making serious progress. The game admins? They're practically losing their minds. They drop the highest level mission in the game out of nowhere. And the kicker? A thunderous roar echoes from the forest. Enter the Demon's Sacred Tree. A boss so OP it could wipe half the team with a flick of its evil branches. Wanner tries to dodge the massive attack, but nope, she's not fast enough. Just as things look grim, Suwoo pulls a not on my watch move and saves her at the last second. Like a true leader, he rallies everyone, calming the chaos so they can keep their focus. But of course, the demon tree locks onto Suwoo like it's got a personal vendetta. Now Suwoo knows the weak spot, the heart of the tree. With a combo of insane skills and lightning-fast reflexes, he unleashes a barrage of elemental attacks. He freezes the tree solid, then delivers a fiery final blow that not only obliterates the boss, but wipes out its minions in one epic blaze. With the battle won, the squad celebrates, and Su-woo's name blows up on social media. But while everyone's fangirling over him, he's laser-focused on what matters: the loot. And jackpot, he finally has the materials to craft the Hand of Death God. The moment he activates it, Su-woo freezes in place. A massive gust of wind sweeps through, rattling everyone in the area. Then, the weirdest buff kicks in. Death's gaze. Nobody can move. Nobody can even log out. Panic levels? Sky high. And their health bars? Draining, fast. But instead of dying when they hit 0 HP, the players lose their ability to see what's happening. Meanwhile, Su-woo's still frozen, trying to make sense of this disaster, when two massive glowing eyes appear in the darkness, staring right at him. It's Death God. Yup, the boss of the hardest dungeon in the game, the kind that only spawns when the apocalypse is about to go down. And Su-woo? He realizes he's royally screwed. Turns out, activating that bone was the ultimate "you messed up" moment. No escaping this one. Death God materializes right in front of him, and Su-woo's practically bracing for the end. But then, Death God speaks. He offers Su-woo a deal. Join his temple, become the ultimate death sorcerer, and gain godlike powers to rule the world. The catch? He'll be branded a traitor to humanity with 0 reputation left. Literally everyone will hate him. Or, option 2, die. Lose all his gear. Reset to level 1. It's a lose-lose situation, right? But wait, it gets weirder. The reward for taking the deal? Infinite stats. Like, borderline cheat mode level. Su-woo can't wrap his head around why he's the chosen one, especially since in every timeline, Death God was just a silent, murdery nightmare boss. Now he's offering Su-woo the biggest mission of his life, and Su-woo has to decide if he's ready to trade his humanity for ultimate power, or hit respawn on his entire existence. So, Su-woo's sitting there, staring at these two absolutely bonkers options. But after pacing around like a maniac and overthinking every detail, he finally decides, screw the mission. No way he's following some psycho Death God's orders. And Death God? Oh, he's pissed. Calls Su-woo a disappointment or whatever. But Su-woo? He's not about to kneel to some wannabe Grim Reaper. Kill him? Sure. Humiliate him? Nah. He'd rather hit reset on life than go dark side. Then, out of nowhere, the sky lights up like a freaking fireworks show. Enter Michael, Supreme Commander of the Celestial Army, rolling in like a boss, the one flashy move. He yeets Death God's projection straight back to hell. But before disappearing, Death God drops this cryptic line like, "You'll join us eventually." Su-woo's brain is short-circuiting at this point. Celestial Army? Here? Michael? Here? It's like a scene straight out of his wildest dreams. Michael, meanwhile, is all like, "Yo, good call not selling your soul, man. We see you." And then, just to up the stakes, he lays down a challenge. Kill 10,000 monsters and take out the Divine Star Eater. Easy, right? Oh, and because Michael's got flair, he tosses Su-woo this insane relic. A necklace that's basically a power-up cheat code. Su-woo's hyped, but then he remembers he's also got the Death God's Bone Hand thing, which is super OP, but comes with strings attached. Like leveling it up is next to impossible. Still, he's feeling like a total legend now. Then, as if that wasn't enough, Su-woo cracks open this sacred tree treasure chest. Yeah, he's got one of those now too. And bam, special quest alert. But just when he's thinking life can't get crazier, it hits him. The apocalypse is coming. And with it, a giant freaking meteor and Apophis, some cosmic level nightmare. For now though, Su-woo's making bank on loot and leveling up like a madman. He heads back to town, where everyone's basically worshipping him for scoring those sweet rewards. Meanwhile, the game admins, they're losing their minds. Like there's no way they predicted Su-woo pulling all this off, but Su-woo doesn't stop. He's grinding hard, using all the pro knowledge from his past life to prep for Apophis's arrival. Then, out of nowhere, a meteor slams into the ground. But plot twist. It's just a simulation. The real deal would have roasted the planet to ash. Cue another system alert. The first dungeon has officially opened. And Su-woo, he knows what's up. In his past life, the boss from this dungeon wrecked everything, leaving a bloody trail while hunting down some rare resource. But Su-woo, he's wiped. Like, dude's done for the day. So he logs off, flops into bed in the real world, and figures he'll deal with all this chaos tomorrow. The next morning, Su-woo grabs his phone to check out the forum chatter from the other players. Turns out no one, and I mean no one, has managed to beat the new dungeon. Su-woo's like, guess I gotta do everything myself, and logs into the game. His next big move? Starting a guild? Gotta prep for the apocalypse, right? As soon as he creates it, the whole server gets blasted with a notification. Suddenly, requests to join come flooding in. But nah, Su-woo's not about to let just anyone in. He's got standards. He recruits one dude at first, even though he's pretty sure the guy's totally useless. Turns out, though, this guy's absolutely loaded. He's been dropping stacks of cash into the game's bank. So yeah, Su-woo keeps him around. Money talks. He also invites Wanner to join him for a run at the dungeon where everyone else has been failing. She's skeptical, like super skeptical. Are you sure we won't get our asses handed to us? But Su-woo, he's on a whole other level of confidence and straight up roasts the rest of the players for being trash. A couple hours later, they team up with Daihao to head to the dungeon. The moment Daihao sees Wanner, he's practically drooling. Dude's all, how'd you land someone this hot in your squad? Su-woo's like, chill bro, eyes up here. Meanwhile, Wanner calls her friends, and they all roll up to join the crew. Daihao, hyped out of his mind, starts throwing his cash around like it's Monopoly money, making global announcements across the server about how Su-woo's team is going to take down the dungeon boss that nobody else has even touched. Finally, they make it to the dungeon entrance. Su-woo's strutting in like he owns the place, even though the whole vibe screams, "You're about to die." Everyone else? Nervous wrecks. But Su-woo knows the place like the back of his hand. He's breezing through the maze, dodging traps and laughing at how easy it all is. The monsters? Kind of a pain, but Su-woo's been grinding skills, so he's wiping them out like a pro. Of course, he claims all the loot for himself, planning to split it later, maybe. The girls aren't thrilled, but what are they gonna do? He's the boss here. Then they hit a crossroads. One path looks mildly less suicidal than the other. Su-woo? He doesn't even hesitate. Jumps straight into the more dangerous route. Turns out he finds some super important item that's apparently gonna help them later. The group keeps moving, taking the safer path with the cooler temps. Everything's fine, until the ground starts shaking. Boom! Out pops one of the creepiest monsters ever, a human-faced centipede. This thing's ready to wreck them and the squad's on edge. Su-woo? He tells everyone to chill out and keep pushing forward while he's out there throwing hands. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad is getting wrecked, health bars dropping like flies. Su-woo's out here trying to pull all the aggro, thinking, if this thing gets cocky, we can aim for the stomach. Bet that's its weak spot. Suddenly, the monster starts charging up some "you're about to die" energy. One hit, and Su-woo's done for. Doesn't matter how jacked his level is. Oh, and here's the kicker. To finish the mission, he can't take any damage. 0. Nada. So, no pressure, right? The fight drags on, everyone's stamina running on fumes, but Su-woo keeps pushing. Just when it looks like they might win, bam. Boss enters phase 2, frenzy mode. Energy spikes through the roof. The squad? Freaking out, because every other group that's tried this has wiped at this exact moment. Cue the Centipede boss launching a chaotic barrage of attacks. But Su-woo's ready. He pulls out some lava trinket he snagged earlier, and a golden chicken bursts out, blocking everything. Everyone's jaws. On the floor, frenzy mode shuts down, and with one final blow, Su-woo takes the dub. Loot explosion everywhere. The boss dropped some insane mage gear, and Wanner, who's a mage, obviously wants it. She's like, I'll drop 50,000 gold for it. Before she can even finish, Daihao goes, 100k, no hesitation. The group is shook. Daihao, seeing everyone's faces, drops the bomb. Met this cute mage yesterday. I'm trying to win her over with this. Bro really out here simping in a dungeon. Su-woo, He's got no time for this drama. All right, auction time, he says. The bids skyrocket, and Daihao takes it for $500,000. Wanner? Fuming. The other girls? Pissed. And Daihao? Grinning like a dude who just unlocked a legendary drop IRL. On their way to the final boss, the tension's thick. Nobody's vibing with Daihao anymore. Then they hit a forest. Uncharted territory. Suwoo steps up. All right, heads up. This next boss has some special mechanic. Everyone pick a pillar, stand still, and don't even think about attacking until I give the signal. He sneaks ahead to a temple that just screams bad vibes. The closer he gets, the worse the energy feels. So bad even Daihao is cracking under pressure. Inside the temple, straight nightmare fuel. Suwoo pushes deeper, knowing he can't afford to mess up. The mission demands perfection. No damage allowed. Then out of nowhere, a cursed human lunges at him. Thanks to his insane reflexes, Suwoo dodges. But it's like the floodgates open, and cursed monsters start pouring in. They're not supposed to spawn like this. One door, one monster. But now, it's a full-on ambush. Thinking fast, he uses his freeze ability to buy time. But there are so many. He's surrounded. Out of options, he summons an energy clone to back him up. Sure, the clone only has half his strength, but it's just enough to tip the scales. Suwoo's in deep trouble. He's surrounded by a bunch of cursed freaks, and it's starting to look like one wrong move is gonna ruin the whole mission. But Suwoo, he's not about to let that happen. Dude whips out his clone ability like, "Not today, monsters," and uses it as bait while he clears out the last of them. Smart move, right? But things are about to get way worse. The monsters? Oh, they're not done yet. And they start fusing together like some nightmare science experiment, and Suwoo's just standing there like, great, this is exactly what I needed. And boom, giant explosion. Out pops this horrifying mega boss, oozing poison blood and straight up radiating bad vibes. Everyone in the squad's losing their minds because, yeah, it's terrifying. This thing doesn't just attack. It rolls like a giant wrecking ball of death, smashing everything in its way. And Suwoo? He's barely keeping it together trying to slow it down. Worse yet, its poison blood is everywhere. So, what's the plan? Suwoo's gotta lure it into the columns scattered around the temple, or else the boss's special ability will trigger. So, Suwoo shouts to his squad, "Hold your ground, don't move a muscle," while he starts charging up his energy. But the boss? Oh, it's not playing around. It locks in on Suwoo and rolls at him full speed, ready to crush him into a pancake. But oh no, our guy Suwoo doesn't waste a second. He whips out his ice powers and bam, freezes that thing's arms faster than you can say chill out, saving his crew in the process. Problem solved, right? Nah, not even close. That monster's still coming for him like it's got a personal vendetta or something. Meanwhile, his crew? Full-on panic mode. They're all freaking out until Suwoo, calm as ever, drops the big order. Activate the freaking pillars. And guess what? The second those bad boys light up, a massive surge of energy blasts straight into the sky. Huge attack right to the monster's face. The thing's totally paralyzed and everyone jumps in, pulling out their best moves to finish it off like it's some epic final boss fight. But hold up. Plot twist. Wanner's got this weird feeling. Turns out, it was just a bunch of creepy NPCs mashed together, controlled by some dark energy. Seriously, who even programs stuff like that? Anyway, the NPCs snap out of it, and they're all, "Oh, sorry for trying to kill you, dude." As an apology, they hand Suwoo a fat stash of treasure. And of course, Wanner's eyes light up like it's Christmas morning. She's already plotting how to split the loot. But then there's Daihao, the walking moneybags, who just swoops in and grabs all the best gear for himself. But this adventure's far from over, folks. The crew's got one final boss waiting for them. They head deep into the dungeon, ready to face whatever nightmare's lurking down there. Let's just hope Suwoo's got some tricks left up his sleeve, or this is gonna get messy real fast. As soon as they step into the final boss room, they realize they can respawn infinitely without losing any items or experience. Sounds easy, right? Like a free win? Yeah, no. Suwoo tells them straight up, "Y'all better watch your own backs this time. I'm not carrying your asses anymore." Think about it. Why would the game let us respawn endlessly? 'Cause we're gonna die endlessly too. He's been babysitting them this whole time. So now it's their turn to actually learn how to play. They start pushing through the waves of enemies, grinding their way up, until they hit Phase 3, a nightmare called the Faceless Serpent. Su-woo immediately warns them, do not look this thing in the eyes. But of course they're idiots. So what do? They stare right into its creepy-ass face and instantly start losing HP. Their health bars start tanking, and one by one, they drop like flies, only to revive and die again, trapped in an endless death loop. Su-woo yells at them, close your damn eyes and back up, now! They manage to retreat for a second, but that's not gonna last. The serpent is already shifting into its next form, and they have no choice but to face it head-on. The only way to deal damage? Long-range attacks. They're actually doing decent, until the serpent starts spitting venom everywhere. Now it's all about dodging and blocking, because if that stuff touches them, they're screwed. Su-woo kicks things up a notch, channeling his power to create a clone for an extra edge. They go all in on the attack, but then the serpent does something insane. It starts summoning a whole damn swarm of snakes. This is bad, like, really bad. Su-woo knows that ability barely ever triggers, which means something about this game's settings is seriously off. But then, an idea hits him. A crazy one. He sacrifices his clone, letting the serpent swallow it whole. Everyone thinks he's lost his mind, but he just grins and shouts, use the distraction! You've got 3 seconds. Go! The others start going in, but more snakes are closing in fast. There's no time left. Su-woo makes a split-second decision, not to fight the swarm, but to launch a direct attack at the boss. Problem? The snakes are faster. His fireball won't make it in time. Just as one is about to bite him, his team pulls off a last-minute save, freezing the final snake mid-strike. Boom. The boss drops. Loot time. Su-woo snags some rare refined redstones, top-tier upgrade material that can't be bought or sold. But before they can even celebrate, a deep rumbling shakes the room. The massive doors ahead creak open, and a message appears. To proceed, tribute must be offered to the statue beyond this gate. Any who disrespect this rule will be eliminated without mercy. Our boy Su-woo knows this ain't gonna be easy. This boss has already wiped out hundreds before. After catching their breath, the whole crew starts moving, heading straight for the final challenge. That's when they spot a massive statue, and from deep below, a giant claw emerges. A black dragon, a freaking demigod. This thing wants to know if they're followers of its master. If they are, they better be ready to avenge him. The dragon grants them its blessing, a crazy buff that cranks up their stats. But before they can even flex their new power, a massive sword drops from the sky and slices the dragon's head clean off. Just like that. No effort, no struggle. Everyone's frozen, jaws on the floor, and those glowing, piercing eyes. Yeah, they belong to none other than the Godslayer himself, Apus. Su-woo ain't about to back down. He tells the others to stay put. This is his fight. If he wants to get through this without getting wrecked, he's got to trust himself and no one else. So he steps up, face to face with this absolute menace. Apus is on level 100, sitting on a ridiculous 28,000 attack power and 5 million HP. But hey, at least he's nerfed to 10% of his power for slaying the Black Dragon. Not that it helps much, because any damage the players take feels like real bone-snapping pain. Apus, intrigued, sizes Su-woo up. Something about him reeks of death. But there's no time for small talk. Su-woo shuts him down. Quit messing around. I'm the only one you need to worry about. That arrogance? Yeah, Apus ain't having it. He strikes first, trying to silence Su-woo for good. Luckily, Su-woo's got an elemental advantage over this beast, but this is still one hell of a fight, and worst of all, the boss hasn't even switched phases yet. Suddenly, Apus starts charging up his sword, unleashing a massive AoE attack that Su-woo has no way of dodging. Meanwhile, players across the game get a system-wide alert. Su-woo is fighting the final boss. Even the game admins are losing their minds. No one's ever gotten this far before. The head honchos at the company are straight up impressed, already making plans to invite Su-woo over, offer him a fat paycheck, and see what the hell he's made of. But back to the fight, Su-woo does the only thing he can. He dives straight into the water to dodge the AoE. His teammates are sweating bullets, staring at his health bar, but it's still full. Not a single point lost. The second Apophis gets stunned from using such a devastating attack, Su-woo takes the opportunity to go full offense. But then, bam, Apophis uses the AoE again. Back to back. That's not supposed to be possible. Su-woo's panicking now. He can't stay underwater forever. If he holds his breath too long, his real body's gonna give out. Time keeps ticking, his stamina's draining fast, and he's got no choice but to surface. He gasps for air, but no time to rest. Apophis is still stunned. Su-woo lunges in for another round of attacks, and just in time, his weapon's special ability activates. Wanner, though, she's got that look, like she just realized this game ain't just some casual time waster. Nah, it's got serious backing from the higher-ups in China, and the fate of entire nations might actually hinge on it. But Apophis? Man, he's had enough. Dude's fed up and decides it's time to crank things up. He unleashes this insane storm of lightning and fire, so brutal that dodging isn't even an option. Now Su-woo's friends finally get why he told them to stay out of it, cause there's no way in hell they would have survived. But then, Su-woo? 0 damage. Not a scratch. And suddenly, he's gone. Apophis is panting, exhausted from that ultimate flex, when, bam! Su-woo materializes right in front of him, fresh as ever. No damage, no problem. Without missing a beat, he summons another energy clone, ready to finish things once and for all. And just like that, Su-woo is victorious. Apophis, bleeding out and defeated, spits out some last words about how his race is the true sovereign and humans are just weaklings. Su-woo, he ain't having it. He looks Apophis dead in the eye and tells him straight up, no one's getting in his way. Especially not some alien overlord. Go invade some other planet, bro. And with one final strike, Apophis crumbles. The sky clears, the world breathes again, and Su-woo? He's officially the first player to ever clear this dungeon without taking a single hit. Absolute legend. As the fight wraps up, the game rewards him with a mountain of loot chests. Every single player in the server watches the announcement pop up. Dude just made history. But instead of flexing, Su-woo just tells everyone to log off and get some rest. It's been one hell of a day. But him? Nah, he's not done. He's still in the game, itching to explore, but he knows he's not strong enough yet. That's when a voice speaks to him. The Black Dragon. The beast is actually hyped that someone finally avenged its master. After centuries of battling invaders and resisting dark corruption, the dragon is at peace, and as a reward, it offers Su-woo a legendary armor set. Then, just like that, the dragon fades away. Su-woo logs out, brain still buzzing with what just went down. But for now, sleep. Next morning, first thing he does, logs in and throws on that brand new dragon armor. Feels good. Right then, he gets a private message. It's Wanner. She wants to join his guild. Turns out, the night before, some big-shot exec from her company hit her up. They're interested in Su-woo. And not just them. Word's out. And now companies from other countries are keeping tabs on him. Wanner knows she's got an edge, though, since she partied up with him the previous day. Her mission? Get close. Earn his trust. And yeah, if flirting is what it takes, so be it. Su-woo agrees to let her in, but he's no fool. He straight up tells her he knows companies are watching, and he's not about to play into their hands. The whole crew gathers up and Su-woo lays it out. This world? It's basically a mirror of the real one. And he's got a plan. Head straight for Winter City. Wanner, though? She ain't having it. That place is endgame tier, a death trap for anyone who's not stupidly over-leveled. She straight up tells him it's a terrible idea. But Su-woo? Dude's grinning. Bigger risks, bigger rewards, he says, like he's already picturing the treasure haul. Wanner's fuming now. She was just trying to keep his reckless ass alive, but he doesn't give a damn. Before they head out, the old man from the village pulls Su-woo aside and hands him a special cube. Disguise tool, he explains. Change your face. Stay hidden. Su-woo nods, tucks it away, and just before he leaves, he makes one last announcement to the entire server. Don't even try to recruit me. None of you are worthy. This is his journey. His squad. No outside help. Let the world watch.